Okay, so we are on page. 1 second. We're on page Kuf Mem. Hey, yesterday we saw a quote from Maimar V'Kocha, Dush V'Kocha Gadol, and so if you saw, I put on WhatsApp picture of that page in V'Kocha, which is very kind of Zion. All arichos about the marshal of the Elon, and he says that the Russian in the Maimar V'Kocha is. You can open up on WhatsApp. I made a copy of that page from Eitzah Chacham. It says, "Kriyas Shem Elon shekoirin Eitzah Elon tapuchin Shalom Zel Shem Aper Shegdeinim Be Nimtza Itzos Peroiso Ze Atzma Shel Elon." That's the point he bought from there. But now we are here in okay, it's same. 6 lines on the top of page Kuf Mem Ches. Elon Iker Atzmiach Peres Nikol Shmoi Kamoi Nikol Shmom Kamoi Elon Tapuchin. Ime Yesha Peres Achatzmiach Hasen Adonim Elon. Okay, it's continuing. It's a very interesting arichas here, which we spoke already about. That it's all part of a mashal and the nimshal to explain V'toyun Tikun relate to each other, interact with each other. The toyu is the nekuda, Tikun is the parts of, and the way it is, the nekuda turns into parts. It starts, so that's why he's developing this marshal of the Garin and the Elon. So what did he say? He said that the Elon has a lot of details in it. It has the Geza Elon, which is like the trunk, has the branches, the leaves, and the fruit. And the fruit is Ikar Elon. That's so we are 6 lines from the top. Elon Ikar Atzmiach Peres and Kashmam. V'im yesh haperes achatz mechotzim yivdorim in Elon. So it's interesting here. There's a difference the branches and the tree, and the fruit. The fruit eventually leave the tree. I mean, the normal way, you pick the fruit from the tree. And even if you don't pick, usually if you look at the tree, the fruit fall off. The fruit nivdolim. So we see an interesting
in the nimshal, that would be a biyah.
Yeah, that's what he said in the bottom of the page. The nimshal, that's biyah. We'll get to the nimshal. So yeah, so he says, they separate eventually, but they're the ikar, like we just said, nikayon tapuchim, because the important part is tapuchim. Vanafim, in the branches is the opposite. Akis pashtos, they're not the essence of the elon, they're just a side of like an extension. They're not the ikar. Actually, at the same time, actually, working by elon, they're not connected to elon. They don't fall off. Gam, and they don't take up. They're not big. Gam and nafim kamus elon. Another difference. They are nafim kamus elon. The branches have the same, made up of the same material. They look the same like the elon itself. Right? Peres, boim b'shinei amos. The peres are shinei. It's a new type of. You can't compare the peres to the elon. At the same time, it come any kakachil. Then the klippers misavel Elon. The what was the word? The man, they gave it the word.
Bark.
The what?
The bark of the tree.
Bark, right? The bark of the tree. He tougher the gamma. Geen ba pri yesh etzma pri va'alim va'klip. So even in the fruit itself, there's a few parts. In the apple, there's the food itself, the arm, there's the leaves that surround the food, there's the peel. Kol zer kol bagarin ator. The point is, all these details that have different type of qualities, they're all contained bagarin ator, and that kernel that was planted, like Shoshamay Biskalus, the way it was all contained within the kernel, it was Biskalus, it was in the state of potential, like Batsmich and Nika Kolanau. Avagarin ain't calls the Nika Kol. Gam Shemenu, Mikoiche, Nimtsonim Shachakoil. So now he adds interesting. He said, Mimenu Mikoiche. Maybe it's possible this is a lotion. It's a lotion of the Maim of the Mittel Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe. So the lotion over there, Mimenu Mikoiche Nimtsa from the garin itself, from its power. And in the Sagarim, in the parentheses, he deciphers the word Mimenu Mikoiche is Meramas and the two madrigas we spoke earlier in Toy. The sphere is a thing is itself there. Koiche means it's power, which is more abstract. That's sphere and the kuda. Okay. The way it's in the gari, it's all in a state of concealment. It's not a recognized, tangible type of being. The way everything is within the garin, it's in a state of you don't see all these differences. When it eventually develops from the koyach yuli, from the abstract koyach, from the concealed state to the revealed state, then we see the major division, and you see the difference between the external and the internal, between the ikar and the tough, like I said earlier. Okay, so then he brings in another short mashal. So similar to what we just described about the Elon, the long arichas, so similar to that, it's also when grain grows. That there's a few parts to the tvur. When you see a stalk of wheat, it contains a few parts. There is the kash v'teven. Kash v'teven is like the proper English word. The things surrounding the actual grain of wheat. It's the part. It's the what we call today. What is it called?
A stalk of wheat.
Yeah, it's a stalk of wheat. So you have the entire thing surrounding the kernel. The stem and everything.
Shell.
What?
The shell. You're saying that, talking about the kalipa.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Shell, yeah, okay.
Okay. The important part is the chita, the kernel of the grain, the chita, the wheat. This is a medashaba shemidain is a amar chita. So the last time I learned it, I brought up also in the WhatsApp. You can still look it up. I think the interesting medrash. So we see. One second, let me look it up again. About the medrash, look at the medrash. Medrash Rabbi Pashas by Ishlach. That's what's interesting here. The Ilan spends almost half a page, and the Chita only brings one line, but he brings a medrash, because the medrash actually talks about it's at the end of Pashas Vayishlach when it talks about Malchei Edom, Malchei Sol. So you can see right here in the medrash parsha that I put in WhatsApp. Teven v'akash v'amoitz merivim medaynim ze im ze. Brand, it's also the brand. Brand, I think, is part of the chita, which is not the chita itself. Things surrounding the clip, the peel. Zerima b'shvili nizra asada. It's an interesting type of the medrash. The medrash said that the parts of the wheat argue. Zerima b'shvili nizra asada. What the Teven says that the soda, the field was planted for me. Wait till we get to the stage of when we cut the wheat and there's a goyren. I'm not sure. I'll say goyren, and then you'll see. So that part of the wheat when below just flow away. Not as a teven, took the part that's called teven, put it on the floor, throw it on the floor. Not as a kash, was sulfur. Took the kash and burned it. Not as a chitim voices and tree. But it took the grain of wheat. That's what it turned into tree. Yeah. And the Medrash continues. Kach omes soilam oimri. Kach omes soilam. Alolam oni kabishuleini nikoim. Alolam bishuleini nikoim. Each nation says, I'm the most important nation. So Mashiach comes, we'll see that who is really the important is the Eden. That's a medrash, a mashal of Teven. So I would say that this is why it brings this entire mashal of Chita, because it doesn't add anything in the abundance of why do you have to go into all mashal? We have the mashal of Elon that's much more developed, and later on he's not going to bring it in the mashal. He's not going to talk in the mashal of Chita. He's only going to talk in the mashal of the Elon. But I think he bought it because of this medrash, because the medrash talks about Taka Ela Melachim Asher Malchut, name Melech Melech Malchut Adam, name Melech Melech Bnei Yisrael, and that's the Teven and the Kash. Mashenk Bnei Yisrael, that is like the Chita. So that in this way, I believe that's why this is. Right. So we finish with that the second marshal. Okay, so the first marshal was the Elon. The Elon, the garden when you plant the seed kernel, which grows into a big apple tree. So that garden contains everything in a state of abstract. Now he brings a third marshal. What is this? So you this medrash I just quoted over here. He just says a few words. That's it. So it says the same thing in the chita. When you plant the chita, all these parts, heaven. There's three parts we just saw. Heaven moitz in our mind only brings heaven the kash. The medrash says heaven moitz kash. I don't know exactly the difference. I mean, if you look at the picture and if you look at it's easy to figure it out. The point is, the way they all are contained in the kernel, that's planted, they're all equal. What is it? So now it brings the third marshal from the way living things are created from parent to child. Talking about probably humans, but it's not necessarily important. Point is that people loyesh ischakos evorim klav al deishi yosef tet chadosh and bet neim nasa tzir avad bischakos evorim. This genetic material that turns into a fetus So in the beginning, it's just a drop, which doesn't have any. It contains everything, but you don't see any difference. When that genetic material is in the womb of the mother for 9 months, turns into a tzir of blood, into the shape of a fetus. There's division, a breakdown of limbs. You have all types of limbs. There's inner, outer, important, less important. Then the most external here and nails. But they're like the moises, which means the most external. Everything is contained within the original drop. But you can see the difference. So the way it is called in the tipa, the size of the which is the most external and the least important, and the Meichen, which is the most important, and by Shvamam, they're the same, they're equal. Only after it's developed and everything, with the full shape of it, then each of the parts gets its own place, which means significance. Okay, so, okay, this marshal is a little longer than, but the point, say, but like I said, and the point of all three of is that there's a development. There's the way it's state of potential, everything's equal. Then it develops into the whole major shape that contains a lot of levels, and all of them are originally contained within the potential nakuda. So that's a marshal, and the topic we're talking here about the yachas of Toyu and Tikkun. That Toyu, the Tikkun, when we say that the Tikkun is in a state of Partzuf, like we explained earlier, and the Hemshach Shavuos we learned before, that in Tikkun everything is in a state of Partzuf. Partzuf means it's a combination of various opposite forces, opposite qualities. So, they're not like a new type of being. Like I said yesterday, it's not like you take a building, destroy one building, and then take new material and build another building. It's not that. It's not the way it works. It's the same material, the same nakud that was in the state of Toyu, that itself contained in a state of potential all the inyanim of Tikkun. But there has to be agdola. There has to be the development, the division and combination. It takes us back to the Mashla Ilan. Now that Mash of the Ilan Maumas Klolos Ishtashus. The Olam Atzilus Ubiya Amalek Shaman Atzilus. That Mashla Ilan we just said really is a marshal on the way, the entire Shtashus, which contains Atzilus, below Atzilus and above Atzilus. All of that is similar to the Ilan. Ayin Dosh V'Koch God. Interestingly, he goes back and says again, top of the page in the 5th line just said Dush V'Koch. Here he gives it a little more a description. Ayin Dosh V'Koch God. So if I look here in the Kocha, the page that I copied yesterday, you can, like I said, you see it on the WhatsApp. Over there it says, it's the whole arichas, the whole seif. It's Perik Ayin Zayin. He describes the yachas of Atzilus to to the way the Elon is a mashlan and atzilus. That's what it says here. But he brings later. He brings all arichas had all kinds of atzilus is a mashal of the Elon with the anafim with the pairs.
It's also in Patach Eliyahu explains. Patach Eliyahu also explains that the Elon that you unfold and it talks about the entire
right. Yeah, interesting, but you don't see him when you hear Patach Eliyahu. So here in the Kocha, there's the Sol Arichos, but he doesn't have the Lashon that he says in our Maimer. Okay, let's see further. But he is developing it a little more than the way it is in Kocha. In the Gov, so the essence, the what we call the trunk of the tree, that's actually the way he explains it here, there are two ways. It starts with one way, the mashal and the nimshal of Atzilus versus the Elon. So the first way starts is that the etzem, the trunk of the tree is a mashal and the that the S, the likus itself, kaviyachol, that is the like the trunk of the tree. The Atzilos is Pashas HaLevad Me'asaf HaMatzah. In the Nimshal, Atzilus means the emanation, expression. It's the sphere, the way the Eibishter expresses his power, his greatness. So the expression is only a horrible light. It's only a ray. It's only an external expression. But the Madrega above it, that's like the thing itself, the essence. So that's like in the marshal, the trunk itself. It's not the on-off. It's not the branch of the tree. It's the tree itself. We know from other, we learned it a few times that the Madrega above it is also not atznos. It's only the Begil in atznos, the Ein Sof, which is above it is also called Ein Sof. It's only the Ein. Yadua the Ba'erish Pnesatzam is pashtus. So in Gufa, we also learned that Gufa has two, sometimes says three, but generally speaking, the two stages in the Ein. The etzem, the essence of the light, and the expression of the light. So usually the etzem, that's the kol b'mor, the way it's in a state of potential, the source of the light. And then there's this part, the etzem, has gilead time, right? Part has gilead. The meile, a madrege shalom, ma'ila ma'atzilus, has etzem, chen ezet, has elam stimus time. In our marshal, the oil, which is above Atzilus, that's the Etzema, plus Elamadai. It didn't reach yet Elam Atzilus. The world of Atzilus represents the concept of Gili. You have spheres, you have these ways of expressing the Eibishter's greatness, like Chochma, Chesed, Gvur. It's above Atzilus, it's a state of pure infinity, which is not yet expressive in a way that's relatable. That means it's what?
Like in the Asilut, the branches would be something that's
wait. Let's go. We'll talk about it. He's talking about himself. Zel Inyan Gufay Mamoshe, the Ein was Atzla himself as a Kesavich. So Gufay Mamoshe Shalil, the trunk of the tree. In the Nimshal, that's a place Atzmos. Level of Keser, which is above Atzilus, which is sometimes it's called Atzmos, and so that is the trunk of the tree. Yeshloimar, then he got more specifically, the Bederach Klal. First he says from Keser, but that comes as a Gufay and Gam is Atik. שגם כן נסתכן מהנקוד הזה טועה כמו שכוסו בעץ חיים, ואת יכולים תחתינו שבעצמס. he's fitting the mashal and the nimshal more specifically. That in Keser Gufo, we know from, again, in this Maimon, some things are written the Kitzo, scriptically. So we know that in Keser Gufo, the Tumadreg is in Keser. There is Pnim is a Keser, Chen is a Keser. Atik Yoim and Arich. So it says in other places, what's the difference Atik and Arich? The Arich Hantin, that's Shesh and that's Solim. That's already the beginning, the source, the root of Atzilus. Atik Yoimin is the matzah. It's part of Kaviyach of the Eir itself, which is above being Shesh and that's Solim. So now it says in Etz Chaim, and Etz Chaim describes the whole concept of Toyo and Tikkun, that first was Shviras HaKelim of Toyo, and then the Eiros and Tzutzis of Toyo turned into Tikkun. There was the repair process. So the first stage says in Etz Chaim, Chinas Atik, Shegam Kan is Taken on because of the Toyo. So according to that way of understanding it, Atik is already in other words, you have the Kudus, the Toyo, and the Marshal. That's the Garin, right? That's like the kernel, and the Elon. That's already what grew out of it. So it says in Etz Chaim that Atik, which we know from other places, Atik from Tachtene Shebatzos. Atik is part of the Sof. That is already the Elon. The Mele, he says, when we say Gufa Elon in the Nimshal, it's not Stam Kesser. Even Atik is already Gufa Elon. No, the Toyo is the Nekuda, Toyo, which is above it. That's the Nekuda, like the Gal. The Gufa Elon, that is Atik. That's how he describes the concept of the Elon, the Mashal of in the Mashal of the Elon, in the Nimshal of the spheres. So the Gufa Elon, first he said generally, it's the Eretz of Shalmala, then he said Kesser, then he says more specifically Atik, which is Tachtena Shabbat. That's why it's called Atzmut, because it's just like in a Mashal. The Elon, it's the trunk, it's the essence, it's the tree itself. Similarly, in the Nimshal, the Radeg of Atik is where he says, it's this essence of Elikus, and that's a Elon. It's already in a state of growth. It's something in Elomatik. Va'anachem mispashtim, what are the branches? Hey, as essence, that's it. So according to this scheme, the anafim, the branches are the spheres. Any spashtas are just like we see in a physical tree. What are the branches? The branches are an expansion of the tree itself. Similarly, in the Nimshal, the spheres are the spashtas of the Shamal. Varim dvukim beresef hamatzil. And they are constantly connected, just like in the branches of the tree. The branches of the tree are constantly connected to the tree; they're part of it. And also another point we said in the Marshal, that the essence, when you take a branch, it's the same like the tree. The material, the shape, it's the same like the tree. It's the same thing, but the spheres have this aspect that the vukim, like the anafim, and their main essence. What's the next stage? Anafim. The next stage in the Marshal, the branches, on top of the branches, the fruit grow. What are the fruit? I know Shanafim Evim Elagil Karchayil. Dafka the Anafim, Dafka the branches, which is the expansion, they express the ultimate power of the tree, that it can create fruit, like we said earlier, and that's the fruit. Similar, what is how it working in the Nimshal? That Olam Atzilus, what happens eventually? What is Olam Atzilus? The spheres of Atzilus, they create the Yesh of Biyah. The Iyu Gamoy Chad Liver, they bring the Lashon in the Geras HaKodesh Simin Chof. The Iyu Gamoy Chad, the Eibush of which is Kalim, which is Kalim spheres. They united. What Liver Be'em V'Al Yesh Me'ayin. To the sphere is the creation of Biyah. Like in the Marshal, the parents. The Hikar who now he says the Hikar is Savas Hayesh. In the Nimshal, just like in the Marshal, what is the ultimate purpose and the essence of the tree for the tree. Eitz pri, like there's impossible. Eitz pri, eitz pri lamineu. That the purpose of the tree is to grow fruit. So similar in the nimshul, the purpose of Hatzilus is to create elements biyah. The ultimate purpose, the ultimate purpose of Hatzilus is to create the Tachtonim, to create the elements, the deal with Tachtonim, to create the elements of Tachtonim, biyah. So that's like in the nimshul, in the marshal, the ultimate function and purpose of the branches is to create the fruit. Same thing here in the marshal, in the nimshal, the ultimate function of the spheres is to create the biyah, the kanoid. Another point, we see an interesting observation. When we look at the tree, the fruit don't grow directly on the trunk of the tree, they grow on the branches. So what does it mean in the nimshul? So how does it explain that exactly in the nimshul? So just like in the marshal, in order for the pears to be created, to grow, you need the mamutza, the branches between the trunk and the pears. So similarly, Atzilus is compared to branch. The spheres of Atzilus are compared to the branch because it's like a mamutza. It's like intermediary, what we call modern terms interface. There's something that connects the branch, the trunk of the tree, the essence of the tree, to the pears. Similarly, in the marshal, in the nimshul, can be a direct. When you say means in the normal, the way things are operating, it's impossible that the yesha amiti, the atlas itself should directly create elements biyah. There has to be this intermediary. That is elam atzilus, just like the branches of the tree. So that's another way to compare the marshal and the nimshul. Right? Another point. When you look at the pears in the marshal, in the tree, the fruit are separated from the ilan. So it means the pasuk Meshami Boyd, which talks about the Nar of Gan Eden. That's in Kabbalah generally. The elements biyah, they're separate being, they're separate, they're nivdo, they feel independent, similar to the fruit of the tree. The fruit eventually are cut off the tree, they fall off, or they're cut off the tree to be used. The gam, another difference, shinui, amahus. When you look at the apple, the apple is different. The essence of the apple is different than the tree. It's a different mahus. It's a different thing. So that's what happens. So that's the way it is in biyah versus hatzilus. Another about that, the branches and the marshal they are connected to the ilan, to the tree, and the memus. They're the same quality, the same essence. So he said all these details we find exactly in the nimshul. Another point, the pears gufa priva klipa. The pears gufa, the fruit themselves have two parts. There's the fruit and the peel above it, or the shell. So what is the nimshul the way it is in the nimshul of Ilam? It says so in each part of the Ilam's biyah, they have the pnimius, the inner part, the essence, and then there's the external part. These are the differences between. That's like in the marshal, the difference between the fruit itself and the parts of the fruit that are not as important, like the peel, the parts of the food are not edible, so to speak.
And also sometimes, like in the some fruits, you have a membrane you have between the caliper and the fruit itself, like orange, you have like this.
Yeah. Okay. There's a
So this
few.
is like Christianity.
Okay. Good. Okay. So this is one way of understanding it. So he started saying it in page Kuf Mem Hey, 6 lines on the top. The Shloima, how the mashal and the nimshal operate. How to compare the mashal of the Ilan to Atzilus. Now, Gam Shloima, there's another way to explain the mashal and the nimshal. Gam Shloima is the second way to explain it. The Gufa is, according to the current understanding, Gufa Ilan is the stuff of Atzilus. The branches are the spheres of Atzilus. And the pairs are Ilam is Biyah. That was one way. Now there's a second way. Gam Shloima, the Gufa Ilan of Atzilus. Another way of understanding it, that the Gufa Ilan, it's a lower level. The Gufa Ilan is that Atzilus. Shezeo Kamaima Tikon Ezeh Milgov Ir Shema, the Ir Shaki de Ilana. So like you mentioned before, Pasach Eliyahu is so in Pasach Eliyahu we say we compare the Atzilus to what's the last name? Here Shaki de Ilana. That's the that it says a lot over there that Milgov Ir Shema, the premise of Atzilus, is Shema. The Ir Shaki de Ilana. He's the one who gives waters the tree. What is the level of Shaki de Ilana? So Atzilus itself is the Ilan, and the Aos Hakava Meir Atzilus, that's Shaki de Ilana. So according to this way of the mashal, we say that the Gufa Ilan is Atzilus. V'anach hamispashtim ein ha'os Atzilus hamispashtim b'bria. So according to this way of understanding the mashal, the anach hamispashtim, the branches are the level of Atzilus, which is extended in the Elam HaBria. The Einit Beis Shvatim. So these are, like it says, there's the Oves are in Atzilus and the Shvatim are in Bria. That's it, Beis Shvatim. P'chinas ma'kaftet atoi the Bria. שאין בחינת שבותים וענפים, the Oros Atzilus שניהם שייכים לביטול בריאה. So I think what's happening here is like this. Until now, in the fourth way of explaining it, you just use the logical part of the mashal. That logically, the Gufa Ilan, the soft branches are the spheres, the pairs are biyah. But now he's finding sources in Kabbalah and other places, sources that use the language of Ilan Vanachme Peres. So in that way, we see that Ilan and Anafim and Peres mean something else. So first he brought the Lashon Tikkunei Zohar that Ilan is Atzilus. Now when it comes to the Anafim, what do we say? That the Merkava de Bria is called the Beis Shvatim. Shevet. Another word for shevet is it's a stick, which is really like a branch. So we see shem knas shvatim va'anafim. They are like we just added in the mafter. B'shevet tiv, yeah. Because the shevet is a stick. So the word shevet is a remez on the anafim. Shvatim va'anafim. Ein biyom nasatelach shnim shachlif al habit l'viyah. So the function of the base shvatim, of the base the all of the base shvatim of that's the os tzilus b'biyah. What's that? That's nim shachlif al habit l'viyah. Its function is to pile the bitl, just like the shevet. What is the one of the functions of a shevet is that we see in where do we see the shevet?
Like a stick,
Yeah, the stick in
to hit a dog. That's a mako.
Yeah, that's makel. But shevet is yes, there's mate and shevet. It's all like there's madrigas in it. But shevet in general is something that you use to instill fear. So that means shelam shecha lifala bitl bebiya. Ayin bebio ani nasach lebeisach terer. Terer mayim ani nasach shechem echad achecho. In the bio that over there it describes the concept that in the shvatim, the awe of the shvatim is the awe of Atzilus, the pearl bitl miyah. V'haperes, so again, v'haperes and the shamas, according in this scheme, in this way of the way decipher the mashal ilan and the nimshal, so the ilan is Atzilus, the anafim is the awe of Atzilus and biyah. What are the peres in this scheme? That's the shamas. Shenikoim peres ilan. So the shamas are actually called in some sources peres ilan. They called the fruit, even bezari. So it says noch Sidus on the Lashon of Zoya, what is even basically that there's even bezarim. So over there also the neshamas are called peres. Now he didn't like a lot of places in this Maimar, he doesn't develop the way it fits with the mashal and the nimshal. But we learned in other Maimarim. Remember, we learned that neshamas, what are neshamas? A likus shenasim nivro. It's a likus, but it becomes something, a separate entity. It becomes not shenasim nivro. Like the mashal of the child, and actually that's the mashal of the child is going to go on. But the mashal of neshama is like a child, it becomes a separate entity. So that's the same way the peres. They attack an expression, the neshamas, an expression of a likus, but they become their own being. The neshamas become their own mitzias, just like the peres are Dover Nivto. He doesn't develop all the other details.
And so what do you say Ibn is?
I'm not sure what Ibn is. No. Even is Paris. Even there's a Maimar talks different. It says this Maimorim talks about the difference between Ibn and Zari. Okay, I guess I have to look it up a little better. But I think the difference, the difference between Ibn and Zarin is that
well, if Ibn or fruits, then Zarin or like grain that come.
Yeah. Paris is Roim. Yeah, that's that even the Chayim mean food. But we have to find that Maimar, and it's a Maimar in Bir Azaya. I'll find it, and there he talks about. I'll look in Bir Azaya. So over there he talks about that the Ibn, that's the neshamas. That's the point he wants to bring out. The neshamas. The neshamas are the peres, and actually he uses the interesting. He uses it's really at the pasuk puvu milashon peres. Peres is a remes of neshamas. When it fits our mashal, the peres and the neshamas are compared to peres. So we finished the arichas of the marshal of Elon. Hein ba marshal base. So similar to that, there's also a marshal base that does have lot. Okay, that will continue tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you. He skips the tour. I guess
Yes,
it's part of the
exactly.
Elon.
The truth is, like, what did the Tvor add to the Elon? That's why I said earlier. To me, if I understand correctly, the only brought the marshal of Tvor because he wanted to bring that medrash. That medrash talks about Bnei Sob, Somasa'ilim, the Toy and Tikkun. But there's really not that much of a difference in the Elon and the Chito. Probably when you break it down, you can also find all these details, the stock and not economics. So that's
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.